Welcome back to Great Day Washington. This segment is sponsored by Legacy Tax. It's tax season and we are all thinking about getting our taxes done. But what if you don't know where to start? Here's Corey Hankerson, who is the Levy King, to help. Corey, thank you for being here during what is usually a very stressful time for so many people, getting your taxes together. I know you have so many tips to make it easier for us. Where would you start?
Well, I would say that the first tip is for everyone to start early. This year's tax season is likely to be a rough one. There are last-minute changes to the tax code that could be potentially confusing. And if your return is flagged for review, your refund will almost certainly be delayed. So to speed things along, here's what you should do. First is if you have a simple return, you should get it prepared early. Always e-file and use direct deposit when possible. And if you have a more complicated return, you should start gathering your documents and get them to your tax preparer as soon as possible. The earlier you start, the longer you have to track down missing information and get on your tax pro's calendar.
I assume that it is really important to make sure that everything's accurate too. Like when you file, make sure it's an accurate account of what you've had the last year.
Absolutely. You always want to file an accurate return. Inaccuracies are a major trigger for IRS audits. The IRS checks the information you provide against the information they already have, things that they've received from your employer. If the information that you provide doesn't match the information that they have on file, your return could be delayed, or even worse, you could actually get audited. If you want to know what information the IRS has on file for you, you can download a free copy of your tax transcript by visiting www.irs.gov.
Don't say the A word, the audited word. That's like everyone's worst nightmare when it comes to tax season.
The big bad A word, that's right.
That's awful. Do we need to be worried about Cash App and Zelle payments this year? Is that a concern?
Well, good news on that front. You've probably heard about the new reporting requirement for Cash App and Zelle and Venmo. Well, third-party payment companies are still going to be required to report those transactions to the IRS. But thanks to a last-minute change in the law, the new rule won't go into effect until the 2023 filing season, so next year. So at least for now, that's one less thing that we all got to worry about.
Okay. I know a lot of people are entrepreneurs out there. They have side gigs or, things that they do, their side hustle. Why is it important not to forget about those when it comes to your taxes?
Well, some people drive for Uber or Lyft, or maybe you have a side hustle like selling things online. But the IRS has been very, very clear that money earned from side gigs and side hustles, it's got to be reported as income. Now, the good news is that you could probably deduct some of those business expenses like your car or your cell phone or even your home office in order to be able to reduce your tax hit. But business taxes are a little bit more complicated, so you should probably talk to a professional.
In addition to the big bad A word, the audited word, there's also the chance that you could owe, and that can be very scary to a lot of people. If you think you might owe, but you can't pay, you talked about installment agreements or maybe talk to a tax pro. How does that work?
So sometimes people are actually afraid to file because they know that they're going to owe a balance to the IRS and they don't have the money to pay what they owe. That's just absolutely the wrong answer. You should always file your return, even if you can't afford to pay. Now, if your balance is small, you can request an installment agreement online and spread those payments out over a few months or maybe even a couple years. But if you're unable to pay the balance in a short period of time, it may be time to talk to a tax professional that specializes in IRS collections cases.
So there is an option out there. There's a solution. Corey, thank you for starting off our tax season on the right foot. Right now, we just got to follow through.
We just got to get it done. That's right.
And for more information, you can reach out to Corey Hankerson and the Legacy Tax by dialing 1-877-538-9546 or contact them online at LEVY-KING.com.